Why you can't finish anything, how emotional neglect destroyed your reward system, the pattern you keep repeating. You start projects with enthusiasm. 3 days later, you abandon them. You promise yourself you'll study for that certification. You never finish. You open 10 browser tabs. You close them all without reading anything. But you can scroll Instagram for 2 hours without blinking. You can watch Netflix until 3 in the morning. You can lose an entire day to content that doesn't matter. Here's what nobody told you. This isn't laziness. This isn't lack of discipline. This isn't because you don't try hard enough. This started in your childhood, and it has a scientific name. What your parents broke without knowing. When you were a child, your brain was learning something fundamental. How to wait for rewards. How to feel satisfaction from slow progress. How to regulate emotions through gradual achievement. But this only happens under one condition: consistent emotional validation. Children need mirroring. You show your drawing. Someone needs to see it, really see it. You tell a story. Someone needs to listen, genuinely listen. You do something difficult. Someone needs to acknowledge it. Without comparisons, without criticism, disguised as encouragement. When this happens, something magical occurs in your brain. A neural pathway forms. Effort equals recognition. Recognition equals dopamine. Dopamine equals motivation to continue. But when it doesn't happen, when your achievements are invisible, when your efforts go unnoticed, when the only attention you get is criticism, your brain learns a different lesson, a devastating one. The neuroscience of emotional neglect doctor. Daniel Siegel's research in interpersonal neuroscience shows something startling. Children who don't receive consistent emotional validation develop what he calls reward system dysregulation. Your dopamine system becomes broken, not in a dramatic way, in a subtle, insidious way. Think of dopamine as your brain's motivation currency. Every time you do something hard and get recognized for it, your brain deposits dopamine. This tells your brain, this was worth it. Do it again. But emotionally neglected children? Their brains stop making deposits. They work hard, nothing happens. They achieve something. Silence. They need emotional support. Nobody's there. So the brain adapts. It stops investing in long-term rewards. Because the data says long-term rewards don't exist. Instead, your brain becomes desperate for immediate dopamine hits. Quick. Guaranteed. No waiting required. This is why you can't finish anything. Your brain literally wasn't trained to value delayed gratification. Pattern 1. The validation, hunger. You weren't lazy as a child. You were starving for attention. Maybe your parents were physically present but emotionally absent. They fed you, clothed you, provided a home, but they didn't see you. Not really. You could sit at the dinner table and feel completely alone. You could achieve something remarkable and hear nothing. You could struggle with something painful and get told to toughen up. Attachment theory research by Sue Johnson shows that children in these environments develop what she calls anxious, reward-seeking patterns. Your brain learns, if I want dopamine, I need to find it myself. And I need it now, because waiting means nothing comes. This is why social media became your drug. Every like is instant validation. Every comment is immediate recognition. Every notification is proof you exist. You're not addicted to technology. You're addicted to finally being seen. And real achievements, the ones that take months, your brain can't compute them, because your brain was never taught that waiting pays off. Pattern 2. The invisible achievement syndrome. You finish something difficult. You wait for acknowledgement. Nothing happens. This happened hundreds of times in your childhood. You brought home good grades. Your parents barely glanced. You practiced something for weeks. Nobody noticed your progress. You overcame something hard. Nobody asked how you felt. Dr. Gabor Mate's work on trauma and development explains this perfectly. Children need what he calls attuned responsiveness. Your achievements needed to be witnessed, not just seen. Witnessed, the difference. Seeing is passive. Witnessing is active emotional engagement. Your parents might have said, "Good job," but their eyes were on their phone. Their tone was distracted. Their attention was elsewhere. Your brain registered this as achievement equals emptiness. So now, as an adult, when you start something that requires sustained effort, your brain literally predicts emotional emptiness at the end, and it shuts down motivation before you even begin. This is called learned helplessness in psychology. But it's more specific than that. It's learned achievement, futility. You learned that finishing things doesn't matter because nobody cared when you did. Pattern 3. The comparison trap. Maybe your parents did notice your achievements, but only to compare them. Your cousin got straight A's. Why can't you be more like your sister? That's good, but you could do better. This is psychological poison. Research from the Bowlby or Ainsworth attachment studies shows that conditional validation creates performance-based self-worth. Your brain learned, my achievements are never enough. There's always someone better. Effort leads to inadequacy. This creates a devastating pattern. You start something. You make progress. But instead of feeling good, you feel anxious. Because your brain is waiting for the comparison, waiting for the criticism, waiting to be told you're not enough. So you sabotage yourself. You stop before you finish, because if you don't finish, you can't fail. And if you can't fail, you can't be compared. This isn't self-sabotage. This is self-protection. Your brain is trying to save you from the emotional pain it learned to expect. Pattern 4. The effort-shame connection. Some of you had a worse experience. Your parents didn't ignore your efforts. They mocked them. You tried something new. They laughed. You struggled with something. They called you dramatic. You asked for help. They called you weak. Dr. Brené Brown's research on shame and vulnerability shows that this creates what she calls effort shame associations. Your brain literally pairs trying hard with humiliation. This is why you can't start that business. This is why you can't go to the gym. This is why you can't learn that skill. It's not fear of failure. It's fear of being seen trying. Because trying was when you were most vulnerable. And vulnerability was when you got hurt. So you only do things you're already good at. Or things that require no effort. Because effort equals exposure equals pain. Your brain is protecting you, but it's also imprisoning you. Pattern 5. The inconsistent reward trauma. This might be the worst pattern. Inconsistent parental validation. Sometimes your parents were present. Sometimes they weren't. Sometimes they celebrated you. Sometimes they ignored you. You never knew which version you'd get. Neuroscience research shows that inconsistent rewards create the strongest addictive patterns. Your brain becomes desperate for the good moments, but it never knows when they'll come. This is why you're addicted to your phone. Variable rewards. Sometimes interesting content, sometimes nothing. But you keep checking, because maybe this time. This is why you start projects frantically, because sometimes you feel motivated. But the motivation is unstable. It disappears without warning, because that's what love did in your childhood. You're not inconsistent. You were trained to be inconsistent by parents who were emotionally unpredictable. The adult. Consequences nobody talks about fast forward to adulthood. You're carrying all these patterns, and they're destroying your life in specific ways. Relationships. You choose partners who are emotionally unavailable. Because consistent love feels boring. Your brain was wired for chaos. Career. You can't commit to long-term goals. Because your brain doesn't believe in delayed rewards. You job hop. You switch careers. You start businesses and abandon them. Self-image. You think you're lazy, undisciplined, a failure. But you're none of these things. You're traumatized. And trauma looks like laziness when you don't understand it. Mental health. You might have depression, anxiety, ADHD symptoms, but underneath, developmental trauma. Your brain adapted to emotional neglect. These symptoms were survival strategies. Research from Bessel van der Kolk's work on developmental trauma shows that childhood emotional neglect creates the same brain patterns as ADHD because Both involve reward system dysregulation. You're not broken. You're adapted to a broken environment. The dopamine detox. Myth. You've probably heard about dopamine detoxes. Delete social media. Avoid instant gratification. Reset your brain. This advice isn't wrong, but it's incomplete because your problem isn't just dopamine tolerance. It's emotional neglect, trauma. You can delete Instagram, but if you don't address the validation hunger underneath, you'll just find another quick fix, another way to feel seen, another escape from the emptiness. The real detox isn't from technology. It's from the belief that you're not enough. It's from the learned pattern that effort leads to nothing. It's from the trauma that nobody was there. What actually helps? Reparenting your reward system. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Healing this isn't quick. It's not a 5-step process. It's rewiring decades of neural patterns. But it is possible. Research on neuroplasticity shows that the brain can change at any age, under the right conditions. Step 1. Witness yourself. Nobody witnessed your achievements as a child, so you have to witness yourself now. Finish something small. Pause. Acknowledge it out loud. I did this. This matters. I see myself. This feels stupid at first, because you're waiting for external validation, but you're teaching your brain a new pattern. Internal validation counts. Step 2. Separate effort from outcome. Your brain learned that effort without recognition is pointless. You need to retrain it. Effort has value, regardless of outcome. The practice matters. The process matters, even if nobody sees it. Write this down. My effort has worth because I chose to give it. Step 3. Start micro. Don't start with big projects. Your brain will sabotage them. Start with 2-minute commitments. Finish them. Build evidence that you can complete things. This isn't about productivity. This is about proving to your brain that delayed rewards exist. Step 4. Find healthy mirrors. You need people who can witness you, not praise you, not fix you, just see you. Therapy helps. Support groups help. Friends who understand help. Your brain needs new data. Effort can lead to connection. Achievement can lead to being seen. Step 5. Grieve what you didn't get. This is the hardest part. You needed consistent validation as a child. You didn't get it. That loss is real. You have to grieve it before you can move past it. Dr. Alice Miller's work on The Drama of the Gifted Child explains this perfectly. You can't heal what you don't mourn. The truth about breaking cycles. You weren't supposed to learn motivation alone. You were supposed to learn it through relationship, through consistent presence, through emotional attunement. That didn't happen. And it wasn't your fault. But now you know why you can't finish things. It's not character weakness. It's developmental trauma. And understanding this changes everything. Because trauma that's understood can be healed. Patterns that are recognized can be changed. Brains that were broken by neglect can be rewired by intention. You're not lazy. You're carrying wounds that look like laziness. And the first step to healing? Naming what happened, validating your experience, understanding the neuroscience. This is that first step. Remember, your brain adapted to survive emotional neglect. Now you get to teach it something new. That effort matters. That you matter. That delayed rewards are real. It won't be quick, but it will be worth it. Because you deserve to finish things. You deserve to feel proud. You deserve the life that consistent childhood validation would have given you. You can build that now, one witnessed achievement at a time.